are trying to figure out why you study and study and study and still can't make the grades that you want to make, then stay tuned because I'm about to give you the key. Okay?
You wanna do it.
My name is Jay. I'm a student at Chamberlain, and today I'm telling you guys how to find practice questions from a bunch of different sources, including ATI, Elselvier. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that's how I say it. And on top of what I'm going to show you, you know that you always have the practice questions in the back of your book. You have the practice questions in the practice question study guide kind of thing. For every textbook that I have, we have like a separate book just full of practice questions. So if you have that, then that's good. Use those tools to study for your exams. Now, if you haven't seen my 3 tips for studying for nursing school video, go watch that video. This is the method that I use to study. So I'll get my information, review my information, make a study guide, and then I'll do practice questions for it. Or as I'm studying, I'm going through topic by topic, I will do practice questions. And practice questions is really what's going to boost your grades. I think I've said this in at least 2 videos so far. So I'm going to just go ahead and show you guys on my laptop screen how I find practice questions. Alright, so right now in my ATI, I got here from Canvas. I'm going to go to my ATI tab. I was on the home tab, now I clicked on my ATI. And now I'm going to go to test. And I'm gonna look for Learning Systems 3.0, and I only started getting access to this when I got my CDN code for fundamentals, and then on top of that I had to have my professor unlock it for us. So your CDN code is gonna be what gets you to like all of the stuff for your class, but you specifically need your professor to unlock Learning Systems 3.0 or whatever you guys have, and that's gonna be what gives you access to this. So if you don't see it, make sure you talk to somebody so that you can get access to it. And you see all of these practice exams. For MedSurg specifically, it has practice exams for subcategories or specific topics like respiratory, musculoskeletal, gastrointestinal, stuff like that. And all of these are good practice for masteries. So go to adaptive quizzes, and that's going to give you access to like the whole test bank. And then if you do a launch adaptive exam on the right, that's going to kind of be like Nclex style. Like the more questions you get wrong or right is going to tailor it to like how well you're doing. Or you can scroll to the bottom and you can make your own exam based on whatever topic you select. So you can do test mode, which is like a regular test. You do your questions and then at the end you get your score. Or you can do study review mode, and that's the one I like because as soon as you do the question, you get the answer and the rationale right there and then. I'm going to change the amount of questions that I have, and I'm going to create the exam. And try to treat it like an actual exam in that you're reading the question, you're not really looking at anything, and you're just breaking it down and finding the answer. So I'm just going to click through until I find the right answer, and I'm going to show you guys the how to get the rationale. So go to show explanation, and it'll show you. So what I like about this is it has the rationale for the right answers as well as the wrong answers, which is really helpful. And when I do practice questions, I try to do it after I've reviewed my chapter or my notes or my PowerPoints, you know. After I've done that, then I'll go in and I'll do practice questions. That's why it's important to make sure that you're allowing yourself enough time to study. I know it's hard to find the time, but you have to do it so that you can get as much practice as possible before the exam, because doing this will really, really, really boost your grades. So, for example, if I feel like well, hold on, let me submit the exam. And if I went to all exams at the left, the upper left, I could see all the exams that I've ever taken. But if I'm not on this screen, then I'll click exams on the left. So if I wanted to go back to an old practice test that I made, I can go there. Or like I was saying, so if you want to review a certain topic, go to the search tab and search it, and then you'll be able to see all of the questions for that topic. Go to select all, or select whichever ones you want to take, and then take selected questions. I don't know why it only lets you do 10 questions at a time, but that's how it does. So go through the questions, try to find the right answers, read the rationales, do this as much as possible. So this question is about medications. So if I know that the manifestations and everything about tuberculosis, but I'm not really sure about the medications, then I can just click out, go back to search and rifampin. And that's really how I do my practice questions. Like, I'll select whichever topics need more review, and I'll just search the term until I feel like I've done all the practice questions there are to do. Okay, so if sometimes I find it helpful to look for practice tests on Quizlet. So this is how you do it. You can't copy and paste from ATI. So what I do is I just find a random question, and then I type whatever I find into like my Google search bar or whatever. So so I'm going to search for a Quizlet. I have found that when I find questions on Quizlet, they're usually, if not the exact same questions, they're usually very, very, very similar to the questions on my actual tests. So this method is like better than just clicking through ATI and doing questions to me, because I will literally do questions that I see on my test, if not just reworded practice questions that I've done. So these are the kinds of practice questions that you want to look for. Like, you want the full question, you want the full multiple choice answer, and then on the flip side, you want the answer and the rationale, which was a great example. This one just has the answers. It has the questions, but it just has the answers. You really don't want that. You want kind of like what we saw in the first example. So here's how to find practice questions on Elselvier. And you get access to it if you have the textbook. And when you get your textbook, you'll have instructions on how to log into Elselvier and do all this stuff. That's how I found out how to do it. But right now I'm in MedSurg, so I'm going to show you how I find practice questions on Elselvier for MedSurg. I'm going to go to the left and go to Student Resources. I'm going to scroll down to whatever chapter that I'm on right now. So right now, next week I have a test on chapter 56. I'm going to click on chapter 56. If I did the questions in the back of the book, I would click on that. Sometimes they have rationales. Key points from the chapter is a good way to take notes for the chapter. But I'm going to do review questions, and I'm going to do this little practice quiz. And I like these because they are usually a lot of questions, like at least 15 questions, 15, 20, 25, like a considerable amount for Elselvier. And then at the top, I'll get my score. And then this has rationales too. Not as extensive or, in my opinion, not as good as ATI, but still really helpful. So let's say that, well, hold on. Let me show you another type of practice question quiz that you can get on Elselvier based on whatever textbook you have. Like, not all textbooks are going to have questions as good as my MedSurg textbook. This one is my health assessment textbook. I'm going to go to Student Resources, and I'm going to I'm going to find review questions. And these are usually shorter. They're usually like 8 to 15 questions. So I'm just going to click through, and I'm going to show you what it looks like at the end. I wouldn't say that I like ATI or Elselvier more, but they both have their own benefits. Like, your ATI questions, if you are tested through ATI, are going to be more like the questions that you see on your test. Like, our professors choose their questions out of a test bank, so the questions are ATI questions, so that's why I like ATI. But Elselvier is really textbook, like it's straight from your textbook, so all of your information from your textbook is going to be in these questions, which helps you get that knowledge down pat. So let's say that I didn't have a textbook with a lot of questions, or I wanted more questions on Elselvier. I will go to the main page, and I will try to find a textbook similar. So I'm going to use nutrition, for example. If my nutrition textbook only had like 8 questions and I felt like I wanted more practice, Elselvier style, for that topic, I will go in and I will try to find another nutrition textbook. It's free. So I just registered for it. I've done this like several times. I've never been charged for it. I'm going to go to check out. You might have to click that a few times. But yeah. So now it looks like a little transaction. It doesn't charge you. I'll go back to my catalog or my Evolve textbooks, and I'll go into that. So I'll do whatever topic I wanted more review on. And this one, it doesn't look like it's going to be like the MedSurg textbook. But you will find ones that are. Like, you'll find, the more that you look, the more that you'll find. This one just has 15 questions. I really hope that video was helpful for y'all. That's how I get to the practice questions that I use as I study. And as I mentioned, go ahead and check out the 3-step studying method, because that has really also helped boost my grades. Keep in mind that ATI is the company that makes the Nclex. So the company that makes the Nclex obviously is going to have the closest thing to the actual Nclex as you practice. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have access to that, I know some people use Elselvier for their coursework instead of ATI, and I have heard from students in other programs that you are able to get an Elselvier quiz bank. So keep that in mind. If you know how to get to that, drop that in the comments so that we all can know how to get to that. And also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to this channel so that you'll be able to come back and get more information. We're going to be talking about masteries, studying for specific classes, and just life as a nursing student, because we all know that that ish gets crazy, you know? So don't forget to come back, check it out, and thank you as always for watching. I appreciate your support, and see you guys in the next video.